So, hi. Do you ever wonder what to do after you leave a crap relationship? There's all these videos out here that are like, this is what abuse does to your brain. This is what this does to your brain. This is what this does to you. But where's the guidance? Where's this is what you do after that? So I'm going to give you a little bit of my experience. And maybe I can help somebody. I don't know. That's really the only reason I'm sharing this. I've been in a few abusive relationships, and they got progressively, well, I guess it was kind of like a pyramid effect. I had one that was pretty bad, then another one that was really bad, and then one that was not so bad. And, people talk about energy, you attract things, and everyone tells you to stay single for a long time after you get out of an abusive relationship or any relationship. I feel it's especially difficult to get to a place where you feel comfortable being single after you leave an abusive relationship because you lose a sense of self. That's kind of an aspect of it that nobody seems to quite understand unless they've gone through it. You can like intellectualize it, but you can't truly understand the depth of that until you've been there. And it often feels like you're alone, no one understands you, that this is just like, there's something wrong with me. Why can't I just get over it? Why can't I just move on? And I'm here to tell you that that's all part of the process of healing from the trauma. Excuse me. And really, there's not a lot of guidance out there for what to do after in a way that's actually applicable. I don't know, whatever the word is, you know what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to tell you what has worked for me and what has not worked for me. So what has worked for me is recognizing that there's not anything wrong with me. I don't need to judge myself. I don't need to try to figure why I'm freaked out by this or freaked out by that. I don't need to know the answers to that because it's all pretty much one reason: trauma. So that's one thing that has helped me, is to be kind to myself. That's basically a long way of saying to be kind to yourself. You've been through a lot, and not a lot of people understand it. And these toxic, abusive relationships are a lot less common than just, we don't match, this doesn't work. They're a lot less common, but when you have repeated abusive relationships and those patterns keep happening, you start to think this is all relationships. But the truth is, there is something that is familiar about it, and in a sick and twisted way, it feels more comfortable than a healthy relationship. So that's why we keep attracting those kinds of people. This is not to blame the victim at all. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with you. This is meant to empower you to feel like, okay, let me think outside of the box that I've been living in and just decide that there is better out there. I know what I'm saying sounds super cold and detached, but I know for me, once I made that shift to believing that there could be more, it felt scary. It felt like, oh no, not me, not for me. And that's a limiting belief that I created in my own mind because of what my past experiences were. Our brain tries to keep us safe. And as messed up as it sounds, being in an abusive, toxic relationship pattern felt more safe. You get used to what you're used to, and thinking that there's something outside of it can lead to a couple of things. One, some self-hatred or self-judgment. Why did I tolerate this? Why do I keep attracting this? Why do I keep letting this be my life? And so I'm going to encourage you to not dig too deep into the reasoning, like why you have accepted I want you to just accept the fact that you were accepting those kinds of relationships, to recognize that you were doing it in a way that was unconscious to you. It was your brain's way of trying to keep you safe. But now that you are aware of it, you can find something different. You do deserve something different. You are worthy of something different. And it feels scary and it feels unbelievable. Like, well, this is all I've experienced. Why would there be something else? But anyway, another thing that really helped me was journaling. I know, boring, right? But journaling in a specific type of way, where I journal what I call the negativity monsters thoughts, just all the horrible things I think about myself, these limiting beliefs. Excuse me. I have a little bit of a cold this morning. And all of the judgments that I've placed upon myself for always having these types of relationships, or having anxiety and too much fear and like letting that make my decisions and all of these things. I write that all down. And then at the end, I reply to myself in a way that I would reply to a best friend, a sibling, someone I love, just your cat even. If the only thing that you have is your animals or a piece of art that you've made or whatever random thing in your life, it doesn't have to be a person that you love more than anything. Could be a show that you watch, could be a book that you've read. I want you to talk to yourself in your journal after you've said all these negative, ugly things or freaked out things in a way that you would respond to something you love. In a kind way, a loving way, a hopeful way, an encouraging way. And it feels very fake. It feels so phony at first. It feels so weird to do that. Okay, this is not going to feel normal. None of this of what my advice is going to feel normal or okay. You might even feel a little anxiety trying to implement these things. But I just want you to trust the process. Maybe even just the teeniest, this much trust in the process, because what you've been doing isn't working, right? So maybe I might be onto something. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's another thing that has helped. And the third thing that has helped me is exercise. If you are limited mobility, which a lot of people who go through trauma end up with chronic illnesses. Me, hi, yeah. And, I've got fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to know all of my backstory about my chronic health, but I do have chronic health issues. But you can get stronger, because some of the physical things that are happening to your body are also directly correlated with trauma. And the thing that we know about trauma, this is like books I've read, psychologists that I've followed, is that you can overcome PTSD. I'm not saying you're going to be the person you were prior to the PTSD, but you can overcome it, at least to a place where you could have a somewhat livable life, not where you're constantly in triggered or fight or flight mode. And so I want you to remember that you can get through this. But exercise, even though it may sound like you can't do it because you have limitations, whatever that may be, just one sit-up a day, one squat a day, 5 minutes outside. Even if you can't exercise, getting up and going outside can still be a form of loving exercise, endorphin creating experiences for you. I'm used to have these flare-ups where I would be on the couch or the bed for days, and just driving my daughter to school would feel like an insurmountable task, and the school was 3 minutes down the road, guys. And even just taking a shower or shaving my legs, any of that kind of stuff just felt like it was impossible and I couldn't do it. And my body felt like I was internally vibrating. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. And then just like the level of panic and anxiety that was like, it was like up there. Why is this happening? And then your thought spirals, they start going on, which leads me to my fourth thing is working on your inner monologue, your negative self-talk. It kind of correlates with the journaling thing, but you don't have to have like a journal. You can do little notes on your phone. But anyway, that's about the other one. But working on your self-talk, if you can control, the only things that you control is what you are thinking and how you're responding to what you're thinking. So a lot of us coming out of trauma, we have very high emotional reactivity, and it's embarrassing. We can judge ourselves very harshly, but we need to recognize what we've been through has caused this, but we can overcome it. So really, really digging deep into that negative self-talk and challenging those thoughts. What if I suck at this new job? So what? So what if I have to have a new job? Okay. What if I never get married? What if I never have children? There's all kinds of negative thought spirals that we could all just get on. Whatever your vice is or your insecurity is, whatever it is, it's really easy to sit there and spiral on it and just go and go and go and go. And I'm going to encourage you to challenge those as though you are talking to a friend or your inner child, or even just a child. If a kid is like, all of the kids hate me, no one's going to pick me, you're not going to sit there and go, yeah, you suck, nobody likes you. Why would you do that? Don't do that to yourself. You deserve the same loving kindness that you would show others. And in my experience, a lot of people who have been in these really toxic relationships and gone through trauma, we all have very high empathy. And so we're very self-deprecating in order to preserve the other person's feelings. Well, I want you to start turning that back to yourself. It's not selfish. It's not. So really work on that inner dialogue. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just positive hope and imagination. Whatever is creative for you, maybe you like to cook, maybe you are a reader, maybe you like to write poems, maybe you paint. I'm a painter. Anything that gets you out of this thinking part of your brain and into your physical body. Maybe it's meditation, anything like that, where you can just kind of let your thoughts spiral into this, what if I did this amazing thing? Or what if my life was this? Use your imagination just like you did when you were a kid. Something where you can like envision yourself having success, having $1 million, having the greatest love story of all time, whatever that is for you. Really allow yourself to just immerse yourself in that wonderful, beautiful little world that you could only imagine in your dreams. Just let yourself live in that sometimes. I like to kind of do this, I don't know. I don't have any specific time frame or every day or every night or once a week or any of that stuff. But when I'm really feeling down on myself, I'll kind of go into those feelings and honor those feelings. And then I'll start to turn the page and like question them and then be like, oh, but what if this wonderful thing happens? And I find that the more often I do it, and it feels really weird, all of this stuff is going to feel very foreign and fake and like forced and horrible at first. But I promise you, please, it will help you. But once you start to get into where you're having these more positive visions in your mind, your brain starts to just kind of envision more positive things. It's like that whole law of attraction. If you're constantly feeding the negativity monster, always feeding that, you're going to just keep getting more of it. But if you can turn your thoughts a little more positive, and having these different, this is just in your head. This helps create a more harmonious environment in your mind. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I do read a lot of psychology books and philosophy and studying all of this stuff. And I have learned so much from different creators on YouTube, like mental illness, Dr. Ramani. I'm trying to think of other ones, but I can't think of anyone right now. Sorry, but this will help you to kind of change the way your brain is functioning in a way. So I don't know. This has worked for me. I also got this complex PTSD workbook. It's actually, I haven't worked in it in a while, but just reading in there other people's stuff that they went through and then reflecting on stuff I went through has kind of helped me feel empowered to do more with my life. And I feel the need to share this with others because I was so lost and I felt like I was never going to get better. I felt like I was always going to be the lady who could only work like 10 hours a week and lay on the couch and barely be there for her kid. And now I'm about to start a new job on Monday. It's a full-time position. I'm nervous, but I'm more like relieved and excited to try this new thing in life for me because I feel like so much of my life has been living it in reverse, where I'm just always worried about having a flare up or always thinking about the past. And really getting out into nature, that's another one. Go outside, guys. Put your hands on the ground, put your feet on the ground. If you're in a wheelchair, just have someone lay you on the ground. If you don't have someone to do it, ask a person, somebody on the street. I would do it. If someone in a wheelchair is like, will you help me get on the ground? I would help you do it. There's people like me out there. They'll help you. If you can't walk because you have problems, sorry, I get like something itchy me. But anyway, my point is, don't give up hope. Believe in yourself, believe in your ability to heal, believe in your ability to do more with your life. You don't have to live like this. This isn't all that's there for you. This isn't it for you. There's more for you. And you just have to take the tiniest little bit of faith in yourself and your abilities and just apply it to something. So anyway, take what I said with a grain of salt, and I hope that somebody can get help from hearing some of my experience and some of the things that have helped me. And I know this video is very messy, but I don't care. I'm not here to be a perfect content with this wonderful, perfectly curated, beautiful YouTube page. I'm just here to be real because this is what fills my spirit. This is what makes me feel fulfilled in life. And they say to do what you know, and I know what trauma and toxic relationships can do to you because I have been my life almost ended from one. So I'm just here to help inspire other people to believe in themselves and to see that there's something more out there for you. And yeah, so okay, have a great day. Bye.